there seems to be a bit of a narrative at times where sports psychologists deal with performance, and therefore that's kind of almost seen as the reason we don't, as much you talked about there, step into this space of mental health, mental well-being. And actually, I really struggle with that, because to me, yes, we absolutely focus on performance. But in my view, and I know Marshy has a shared view, the only way we can focus on performance is also concurrently focusing on well-being, because I do not believe you can have one without the other. Mental health. The goal is not to have no stress. That cannot be the goal, because that is not realistic. Like, everybody at some point, as exactly as you said, will experience stress at some point in their lives, and that's normal. I think the other piece for our domain, if you like, is the contextual piece. And I think we've talked a lot in a number of these episodes that we've done about context and different reasons. I think context comes up again in this topic, because in the sporting environment, it is not always a normal environment. You know, people are operating in a performance space. That means that there are pressure points. That means there are points, if you've got selection for a major tournament coming up, people's levels of stress and anxiety are likely to be heightened in those times. That is normal for the context in which those people are operating.
A lot. Language, again, would be no surprise, because of the ACT theoretical framework that I deliver from, like, is so important to me. And when I hear a coach say something like resilience or grit or whatever, like, they'll get frustrated. I'll go, well, come on, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what are you seeing? Because I want to create a shared model of, when someone says X or someone says Y, we know what it means. Because I will always go back to, if in the world of football, a coach says break lines, everyone know what break lines means. Everyone knows it because you're taught it. In psychology, I think we complicate language a bit too much at times. So having a container, a metaphor like this, then a coach can quite simply ask, I feel as though your container's overflowing a bit at the moment. The system know, and we can do something about it. And I love that stuff. Is that ultimately what we know is, I've talked about ACT a lot. Bex will talk about her therapeutic framework and talk about Gestalt. Like, fundamentally, that will equate to about 15% of the success that you're going to have as a practitioner. And let's never ever forget that the client and the extra therapeutic factors, the relationship that you have and the extra therapeutic factors, the stuff that's going on around what you're doing with them, equates for 70% of the success that any therapy will have.